Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory, and this is your afternoon weather update here. We are on alert again this evening for the possibility of an isolated strong to severe storm. Yesterday's threat was much more widespread as we went through last night. I think just about every single county in the tri-state at some point was under at least a severe thunderstorm warning, and some of you even got tornado warnings. We did get confirmed earlier today that an EF1 tornado did hit Ohio County last night, and the Storm Prediction Center is still working on surveying damage in parts of Webster, Northern Hopkins, and McLean counties to determine if the damage there was from straight line winds, wind gusts, or tornado damage there as well. We are still on alert for another chance of storms this evening, but like I said, much more isolated than what we saw last night. So right now we do have clouds thickening up across the tri-state. We had sunshine earlier today. Now the clouds are really starting to take over out ahead of the rain that will move in a little bit later. I want to widen out the view to really kind of give you some perspective on what we're tracking here. So this, by the way, this rain starting to push off the East Coast. Those are the storms that moved through here overnight last night. So that cold front's moving out. This next weather system is now gaining strength. So we were tracking earlier today, if you were watching 14 News at 11 or First Alert at noon, we had these storms just starting to spark in parts of southern Missouri and into Oklahoma and Texas. Now those have really started to grow and develop, and we've got this whole mass of thunderstorms, several of them severe, off to our southwest, and this whole thing is moving to the east. So as this progresses forward, most of the action, most of the severe weather chances where you see those bright reds and whatnot showing up, most of that's going to be to our south. But we are still going to get caught up on the northern edge of this, where we're still going to see some rain, probably some thunderstorms, and that isolated chance that we could even get some severe weather. Now, right now, they do have a severe thunderstorm watch and a tornado watch issued off to our west. That goes from about Paducah, stretching through far southern Illinois. Doesn't include the tri-state there, that severe thunderstorm watch. But you'll notice that watch goes almost all the way up to St. Louis. So that severe thunderstorm watch does reach pretty far north, and that is what will push east then into the tri-state. As of right now, they're still keeping the primary outlook for severe weather to the southwest. I will say, though, we're expecting a new update to this map just any time now. They're supposed to do it before 3 p.m. today. So sometime in the next half hour, we'll probably get a new update. I will be curious to see if they upgrade parts of Illinois or Missouri here where they're under a watch, but still only in that general to isolated risk for thunderstorms today. It does seem like the worst of it is still going to be more down around Arkansas, Louisiana, and over into Mississippi, though. And then they've got that very small level 4 risk area out around Dallas there. So we're kind of on the northern fringes of this severe weather threat. The tri-state right now sitting at a level 1 threat. It does go up to a level 2 as you head farther south into western Kentucky. If we get any severe weather today, it would most likely be in our western Kentucky counties, but an isolated strong to severe storm really could pop up anywhere in the tri-state. And all hazards are possible today, although the risk for some of them is pretty low. These storms may be capable of producing some very heavy rain and isolated flooding, some damaging wind gusts, some hail, or maybe even a tornado. That brown shade you see there, mainly for the southern half of the tri-state, primarily in western Kentucky, that is a 2% risk of tornado. So our tornado threat is low, but it's not zero. And a quick spin-up tornado can't be completely ruled out, just depending on how everything kind of comes together. So I showed you the broader view of this. This is tightened in, focusing just on the tri-state here. Again, most of that action, most of the severe threat staying more down to our south, but these storms that are coming out of Missouri are going to work their way through Illinois and into the tri-state as we go through this evening. Again, if we were going to get any strong to severe storms, it would most likely be in western Kentucky, but later this evening, mainly after 5 p.m. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are likely, and there is that potential we could even get an isolated strong to severe storm. Now, much like the weather we saw yesterday, the greatest threat is going to be on the leading edge. So right as those storms are moving in from about 5 to 9 o'clock this evening, that's the window where we would most likely see any chance of severe weather. As we go through the rest of the night, rain chances still persist. We'll still have scattered rain, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder through the overnight hours tonight, and some of that rain may even linger into early Wednesday morning. But I think if we're going to get any severe weather, it'll be early on in this event, mainly again between 5 and 9 p.m. I think any thunderstorms we see through the rest of the night would be non-severe. We will still have scattered rain into early Wednesday morning, but it moves out pretty quickly. Wednesday is looking partly to mostly cloudy, but mainly dry. We may catch a stray sprinkle at some point as we go through the day on Wednesday, but most of Wednesday is looking dry, breezy, and cooler. Speaking of temperatures, right now most of us are in the 70s. It is a little cooler to the north, upper 60s in Fairfield and Mount Carmel. It's 73 right now in Evansville and Owensboro, but as you head farther south, they're up to 77 in Madisonville, 78 in Dundee. As we go through the next few hours, we are still going to stay dry through the next couple of hours, so I do think we'll warm up a couple more degrees, probably topping out somewhere in the mid 70s for most of us. For those of you farther south in western Kentucky, you'll get into the upper 70s, maybe even near 80. Then by about 5 o'clock, those storms start to roll in, and then even after the storm chances start to taper off, scattered rain will still be possible on into the rest of the night. Temperatures will eventually bottom out in the mid to upper 50s by the end of the night tonight. Then tomorrow, partly sunny, mainly dry, breezy and cooler. We will have a strong breeze coming in from the northwest, pulling cooler, drier air into the tri-state, so our highs will only reach the upper 60s on Wednesday, and in fact the whole rest of this week looks much cooler with highs in the 60s, not just Wednesday but all the way through the weekend. In fact, Saturday may end up being the coolest day of the week. We'll start the morning in the low 40s and then only climb into the low 60s that afternoon despite mostly sunny skies. We do start to warm back up into the 70s as we get into early next week, but another cold front will move in and probably bring us a little rain Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. As of right now, not expecting any severe weather from that though. Checking in on the comments, good afternoon, Craig. William got 1.5 inches of rain yesterday. Jeff Miller in Savah got more than 2.7. He said 2.7 inches of rain there, that his garden is loving it. Yeah, we need the rain. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Craig still needing a little more rain there in Owensboro, he says. Good afternoon, Laura, Teresa, Christina. Christina there in Ohio County, where they just had that EF1 tornado last night. Hope everyone's okay where you are there, Christina. Zach asking about widespread severe weather tonight, not for us. They may see some numerous to widespread severe storms to our south, but here locally, our severe weather chances are isolated. We're on kind of the northern fringe of this, where a few strong to severe storms are possible, mainly in western Kentucky, but the main risk of severe weather is south of the tri-state tonight. We are not expecting widespread severe weather. Most of us will probably just get rain and a few rumbles of thunder, but there's that chance, especially in western Kentucky, that a few of us may see an isolated strong to severe storm, and if that happens, that storm would be capable of producing damaging winds, hail, and even a tornado. So again, you want to stay alert. You want to stay weather aware this evening. Again, this is not going to be as late as last night. We're talking more like 5 to 9 p.m. But then the rain after that point, I think, would be non-severe storms. Laura, the answer is the same in Warwick County as it is for everybody else. We're going to get some rain, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Isolated chance you could get some severe weather. That rain's going to start to move in from Illinois around 5 o'clock or so, probably start pushing into places like Evansville, Newburgh, Henderson, closer to 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock, I would say. All right. Good afternoon, Paula, Gayla, Laura, Ty, Susan. A lot of people asking about specific places. And again, these storms are going to be moving from west to east later this evening, That rain starts to push into our Illinois counties, probably closer to 5 or 6. Then moving toward the middle part of the tri-state, Evansville, Henderson, places like that, closer to 6 to 7. And then continuing east closer to Owensboro, 7, 8 o'clock. And then I think our thunderstorm threat will probably be over. Our severe weather threat, anyway, will probably be over by about 9 o'clock tonight. We may still see some rain after that, but I think it would probably be just kind of general showers and a few rumbles of thunder, nothing severe after that point, most likely. Now, a lot of you have been talking about how much rain you have gotten. We have been very dry and very warm for much of this April. We've only got a couple more days of April left, so I wanted to update you that it does look like we're probably going to take the top spot. Even though we do have some cooler weather on the way the next couple of days, it is not going to be cool enough to really pull down the average that we've been establishing this entire month. The previous warmest April was April 2017 with an average temperature of 63 degrees. As of right now, our average temperature so far this April is just over 65 degrees. So we're not just, no, we might break that record. We might break that record by 2 degrees, which on an average temperature is a lot. You'll notice that, I mean, even the top 5 here, we really only get down to 61 and a half, 62, 63. So for us to have an average temperature of 65 just really speaks to how incredibly warm this April has been. Of these 27 days in April, we have had highs in the 80s for, I believe it was 15 of them, 15 days in April with highs in the 80s. That's half the month. That is uncommon. And we were in the running to be the 3rd driest April until yesterday. Up to that point, we had had less than an inch of rain the entire month. Then yesterday, we got those thunderstorms that brought heavy rain, picked up more than an inch and a half of rain at the Evansville Regional Airport rain gauge there where the official records are kept. And with that, we have now put a pretty serious dent in that deficit. But even with that rain yesterday, this is only about half as much rain as you would typically see for the month of April. So we still need that additional rain that we're going to get tonight. Here's hoping it doesn't come with any severe weather this time around. And again, our average temperature much warmer than you would expect for the month of April. The drought is much worse down to our south, but here at home we are still looking at moderate drought for most of the tri-state, and that goes up to severe or even extreme drought over parts of western Kentucky. I'll be curious to see how the drought map changes now that we did get that beneficial rainfall last night. That has not been factored into the drought monitor just yet. This only updates once a week here. Moving forward, cooler, drier air is going to take over, so don't let that catch you off guard. We've gotten very accustomed to the 80s around here, which is abnormally warm for April, but moving forward now, we've got a good stretch of 60s here. Upper 60s tomorrow, Thursday, low to mid 60s then for the end of the week before we start to warm back up heading into early next week. I do think we'll start to break back into the 70s by Monday, Tuesday of next week, but we do have a cold front bringing us a chance of some showers. I don't really see a severe weather threat for early next week at this time, but behind that cold front, our temperatures will drop again, and the extended outlook from the middle of next week, so Wednesday, May 6th, through the rest of that week does show a trend back toward below average temperatures, and our precipitation outlook shows a pretty average precipitation. Like I said, we've got that cold front moving through, probably bring some rainier weather down to our southeast, but we're going to see that rain kind of Tuesday into Wednesday most likely of next week. So we have had very warm weather all April long. We've gotten very accustomed to these 80s, but it seems like we may be turning the page here and may end up being cooler than April. We may end up with 80s in April and then 60s in May. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But again, we do have that chance for thunderstorms this evening, mainly from 5 to 9 p.m. Our chances of severe weather are isolated, but you'll still want to make sure you have a reliable way to receive warnings. Stay weather aware. Make sure you know where the safe place is, wherever you're going to be this evening. If you're going to be out and about, if you're going to be on the road, make sure that you're keeping an eye on the weather just in case we do get an isolated strong or even severe storm. And if a severe storm does pop up, it might be capable of producing damaging winds, hail, and even a tornado tonight. So please be careful. But again, the chances are pretty isolated. For most of us, we'll probably see just rain and general kind of run-of-the-mill thunderstorms tonight. But a handful of us may get hit with some severe weather. So just be aware of that. Scattered rain then continues through the night tonight, although I think after about 9 p.m. our severe weather threat will be over. Once we get through tonight, it's really pretty smooth sailing. It's mostly dry and cooler with those highs in the 60s then through the rest of this week. So something to look forward to there. I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, Sean Brady also mentioning an off-topic thing that Evansville was a response in jeopardy yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. Nice to see us highlighted there. All right, I'm not seeing any other weather questions, so I'm going to wrap this up. But Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lyons is in the Weather Center working right now. He'll have an updated look at your forecast on 14 News tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And he'll do another streaming show here tonight at 9. And again, if we have any severe weather, we're going to be fully staffed here again tonight. We'll be here tracking those storms and keeping you safe, so keep it tuned to 14 News. Make sure you've got that 14 First Alert weather app with your notifications turned on. And if there is any severe weather that we need to alert you about as the evening goes on, we'll be making sure to bring you that information on air and on our streaming platforms to make sure everybody is staying safe and updated tonight. But again, it is not the widespread threat we were looking at yesterday. Tonight's is much more isolated, but still, the threat remains, so make sure you're staying weather aware this evening. All right, everybody stay safe, have a good rest of your day, and be grateful that we've got some more pleasant weather in store once we get past tonight. All right, have a good one, guys.